Oh, what's good, everybody? We're in a really good mood tonight. It's been a really solid Monday. Hopefully you had a great day, too, at work or whatever you are doing. Welcome in to your sports betting brand of record. We like to call it the Early Edge. We are powered, as always, by the almighty SportsLine. And tonight, it's all about Monday Night Football. It's about the Rams laying 4 at the 49ers. We're going to break it down all ways to Sunday. Sides, totals, all the props you could possibly ask. Now, here's what I need you to do. Because we're going to give away a lot of stuff in the show tonight, but I need you to be more active. Pound that like button. At 200, at 100, we will change a life. At 200, we will change a life. At 300, we will change a life. Now, if we get all the way to 800, the always elusive Coach action figure will be coming to one lucky person, but you got to pound that like button. Just do it once, then get back into the chat. Also, put in your Twitter handle as much as possible. And also to win, you have to follow us on SportsLine at the Twitter. We will check that. All right. Coach needs you to be more active. Yes, I do. Way more active. We're doing our part. I just need you to do yours. All right, let's bring in the stars of the show. And in our nighttime shows, on these live shows, I bring in my heavy hitters live from Nashville, Tennessee. Ladies and gentlemen, M Squared. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Coach. I decided to dress up as AB again tonight, apparently, with the white hoodie and the Patagonia vest. We're looking good tonight, AB. So let's do it. Hopefully we're on the same side of the game, too. That would be something.
Was there a phone call before the show
between
you two? Or?
Can I get
you guys didn't get the memo?
Oh,
sorry.
Sia, you didn't get the memo to wear the vest? And
I'm super insulted. I mean, granted, I wouldn't have worn it anyway, but at least would have liked the offer.
Well, see, look, I was going to say, look, here's the thing, and I'm M-Squared, I'm not putting you in this. You three guys, you guys are in shape, looking good. You don't have to wear layers on layers to hide it. So, yeah, just put that out there.
Well, I can't argue with that. So I'm not going to say anything other than, okay.
It's bulletproof.
Yeah, I'll take it. We're bulletproof. Now, if you were wondering, because there's many of you out there that are big Prop Stars fans, I always tell you, he's from parts unknown. But when you're from parts unknown, sometimes the power goes out. So we're hoping to have him as part of the show. If not, we will still get his plays into the show. And, of course, I have all I need right here, but he certainly adds to it, and he loves it. And if he doesn't have power, that means he can't watch the show, which means he can't drive himself crazy when we have a prop question and we don't answer correctly. Because that drives him, and it just pops off his shoulders. We know that to be true. All right, you guys are active. We're active. Let's get into it right now. And, guys, the biggest storyline tonight, and we didn't talk about it yesterday. We're going to wait for it tonight. And that is the fact that the Rams have made so many different changes now. They're coming off a 28-16 loss where they looked horrible against the Titans. But, Mikey, let's start with you. We have Robert Woods out, torn ACL in practice on Friday. In comes Odell Beckham Jr. In comes Von Miller, active tonight. A new-look Rams team. Will it matter in your mind?
Oh, I mean, it certainly matters not having Robert Woods out there. I think that they can replace him with the combination of Odell Beckham and Ben Skoranek, who's going to step in and play some snaps here for him. Cooper Kupp, Van Jefferson, they've got a number of weapons. Yes, it is a blow. Fortunately, it's to a team that was already loaded with weapons all around the place. Having Von Miller certainly is going to help that defense put some pressure on Jimmy Garoppolo. So, in terms of simulation stuff here, it's worth almost half a point, and that's being relatively generous. It's not much in terms of the betting spread.
Okay, very good. That's interesting because I know we talk about it a lot, but it needs to be reemphasized, AB, that just because a big player goes down, we're talking 45 catches, 556 yards, and 4 scores. That's significant, but we're always coming from the betting angle. And as Mikey said, not that big of a deal. In your mind, though, does it change anything about the game tonight?
No, not really. I mean, it'll change a little bit in terms of, how Cooper Kupp, is guarded, so to say, right? It'll change how the defense plays against that offense. But to be completely honest with you, the Rams have so many weapons, both at wide receiver and at running back, that this is a team that can absorb it. And this is the reason exactly why they went and got Odell Beckham, because, just to be prepared for a situation like this. So other teams, this would have a big impact. This one, not so much.
All right, very good. Somebody in the chat just asked to help to put my Twitter handle over and over and over. It absolutely does, and the reason for it, we have such a big audience watching now, it disappears into the chat for us. So if you have a comment or a post, always put your Twitter handle in. It can't hurt. Sia, let me come to you because Monday is your night. You had the entire weekend to kind of assess how things are going in the NFL, and this is one of those games that we expect what should happen. The Rams should blow out the 49ers, but as we know, especially the last 3 weeks, that's not what happens. How does all this turmoil affect how you think of the game today?
This one's a tough one because if you look at the line, whether you see it at 3.5 or 4, it almost seems trappish, right? Because we've seen the 49ers play. We've seen them play in situations where you kind of conceived it as a must-win situation, even though it truly wasn't. And they just were really flat. And Jimmy Garoppolo looked like a statue. And I honestly, I think he's going to look like a statue tonight as well, which is why I think Trey Lance might come into the game here and there for some special packages. But with that said, the Von Miller addition, while I didn't think it was a huge deal for the Rams, I do think it might be a big deal tonight in terms of just establishing some momentum on that defensive line. I mean, you got Aaron Donald, you got Floyd, you got Von Miller, and you got a statue at quarterback. It's not a good mix there. So the Robert Woods thing, to Mike's point, not super important to me. I feel really bad for Robert Woods. I feel like it was kind of a lost season for him anyway, because he just wasn't getting the targets that everybody expected. Also, you have Van Jefferson sort of emerging. I think by the end of the season, if Robert Woods was healthy, you might have seen the targets flip in terms of Van Jefferson versus Robert Woods. So I think Van Jefferson's emergence is kind of key to this game. And that's why I don't think the Robert Woods situation is going to affect the outcome.
Very good. It's funny you mentioned that Van Jefferson because we gave out Van Jefferson, I believe, on the morning show today. Am I right? It was this morning, right? And it was at minus 110. Guess what, Sia? That same, the number's the same, but guess what it's juiced to now?
Now that's Van Jefferson with what?
His yardage, over 47.5 receiving yards.
Oh, wow. There's trouble in that Niners secondary. I would imagine it's juiced to minus 130.
160.
Oh my.
160. Yes,
wow.
Mikey.
Yeah, so basically this morning on Early Edge this morning, we played it at 47.5. I told you if you go watch the tape that I thought it should be 51.5 was the efficient number in the market. It is currently on DraftKings 51.5 minus 115.
There you go. Gosh. So yeah, I still have it at the same number, but they juiced it up. And so it all depends on where you play it at, but use Mikey's information. Obviously, you play at the higher number and you get the better juice. That's kind of what these shows are all about. Thank you, Mikey, very, very, very much. All right, let's continue to pound that like button, you guys. The call to action worked. All right, I already got my first 3 winners, 200 likes. You guys are amazing at home. Here we go. We are changing these 3 lives right now. At TWLASN10, at Ben KOFS, and at Stevie G447. The jeweler will reach out to you on social media and give you all the details. You are the newest family members to SportsLine. You get access to all the campers, all the analysis, all the simulations, and I'm telling you, there is no better value in all of sports betting. Let's continue to pound that like button. Let's get to 300 in no time. Everybody in the chat that's a member will tell you how valuable it is when you really need information and you really need simulations. Now, as we look at the total, it's moved around. Jeweler, what number are we officially using for the total?
Right now, I'm seeing it at 50.5.
All right, 50.5 for a team. And by the way, see, I meant to mention, you said Trey Lance. Somebody would have to be crazy to pick him for our first touchdown of the game tonight. Somebody'd have to be nuts to do that.
It would be insane. Borderline ridiculous.
Yeah, borderline ridiculous. I'm just saying, I don't know if anybody would ever do that. Mikey, let me come to you on the total. Do we like this at all at this very weird 50.5 number for 2 teams that we just don't know what their offenses look like right now?
Yeah, so I've got a lean on it. Nothing's really changed in my simulations on the total since Tuesday in the mega preview where I showed everyone there. I have it at 47.9 and make the Rams 4.7 point favorites. 47.9. It's a lean, relatively strong lean towards the under. I haven't played anything official on it, but certainly the way I would be leaning. Any additional thought process there would be having some new pieces out there, not having Robert Woods. We could see a few more handoffs. We could see a little longer in between snaps as they're getting sorted out on the field. Just little things that eat off 5 to 10 additional seconds at a time definitely makes a big deal in the National Football League, where you're not stopping the clock for first downs like you are in college football. So I would lean towards the under. The simulations, in my model at least, lean towards the under. And I think that it's really hasn't seen a ton of movement recently. It's been hovering at 50.5 pretty much all day.
Very good. AB, what do you got?
Yeah. So in regards to what M Squared is saying, yeah, I completely agree. I went through the last 4 games between these two teams, and you look at the average total amount of points scored, it's 43.7. So yeah, I agree completely with where M Squared is saying. And you look at both of these teams. Look, Los Angeles is going to try to start by not doing what they did against Tennessee, and San Francisco, that is not a fast offense at all. They take their time. So yeah, I think that the under's a nice little player.
Thank you very much. I apologize, AB. I had a hard time concentrating on what you were saying because somebody in the chat asked if you had just got off your Harley before you gave your take. So there's that. And then another chat person thought they'd be very funny. And Sia, they want you and I to dress up alike, but they want us to dress like you dress, with the collar all the way to the top. You know, my arms would bust out of that shirt every single time. But,
Well,
I mean, we could do it.
I mean, yeah, you can't see my arms because of the orientation of my camera, but they are also potentially busting out of the shirt. But listen, the point is, Coach, I'm all for it, man. If they can dress the same, we should be able to dress the same. So I think next week, maybe you need to get one of these polos buttoned up.
All right. If we see a third person dressed like Mikey or AB, then you and I will dress the same. But we'd have to see a third person. That's what we'd have to see somewhere. Okay, that's my deal. That's my deal. Now, Sia, let me come to you because the props are coming. We're approaching the bottom of the hour. But as far as the total is concerned, based off what AB and Mikey said, would you want to play it tonight?
Yeah, I would probably want to play the under as well. I mean, the reality is the Niners' path to victory here is probably through the run. I mean, obviously they have their weapons back, their weapons through the air back. I'm talking about with Brandon Ayuk is whatever you want to say about him. He's fully incorporated into this offense. Deebo Samuel, and of course, George Kittle is back as well. So you'd think they'd be operating from a standpoint of like, hey, let's get this through the air. But the way you beat the Rams is through the run. And we know Kyle Shanahan's scheme. It hasn't looked great lately, but Elijah Mitchell has looked pretty good. Jeff Wilson is active for this game. He should be back. So I think just that path and that perceived game plan is going to contribute to time ticking off the clock a little bit too. So yeah, I'm all in on that under as well.
Oh, I like that a lot. And the side isn't so bad at 4 that, that 49ers couldn't score and they still come in under and then we still cover. That's the worst when it's a big spread and then the underdog scores first. And you're like, man, I got to bet for something here. By the way, look at AB. You couldn't handle being on the bottom of the show, so you had to move yourself to the top. What is he doing? What is going on? This is so weird. This is so... What?
It looks like.
Are you wearing a vest too?
Wait a
Is that
second.
3?
Wait a second.
It looks
Jeweler,
like-
are you dressed just like these two idiots? Well, no, one idiot. Mikey's not an idiot. AB is.
I may or may not have very quickly ran over to my closet and grabbed this hoodie and the vest as soon as it was brought up that these guys are dressed alike. So yeah, I got my CBS Sports vest as well. It's not quite a Patagonia, but.
Well, let me say this. The vest looks good, and also I think somebody's hit me with old AOL viruses that keeps kicking me out of StreamYard. I don't know what's going on here.
Rob King just said jeweler with the W.
Maybe they haven't upgraded you to the private network at the Chick-fil-A yet? You're still on the free public Wi-Fi?
Yeah. I'm over here with the customers who just bought nuggets. Yeah, so.
Can we not bury the lead here that now I'm going to be forced next Monday night to wear a golf polo buttoned all the way to the top, just like Sia? Can we not bury that lead?
Well, you know what's funny here is I literally took off a polo that I could have buried, like buttoned all the way up to the top. So I could go for anyone I want to right now. I just don't have a straight to the pay window hoodie. So, Coach, you're safe right now.
If everybody watching isn't super excited about next Monday and our coordination, it's going to be a sight to see. I can't wait.
I guarantee it will be. I don't do anything half-ass. This is going to be full-blown Sia mode. Full-blown. Yes. Don't even blink twice about it. I promise you that. All right. I apologize for the delay in the show. That was kind of fun. and now you're calling us out. Jeweler always has something up his sleeve. All right, we are past the bottom of the hour. That means it's time for our official picks on the show. And gentlemen, we've got several official plays in the show. AB, let me start with you. What, if anything, are you putting on? Because last night, no pressure, we swept the board. Just for people who didn't watch last night, we won every single play. Did we not, gentlemen?
We did.
Did we not? We swept the board last night. I even won a play last night, Sia. I even had an official play, and we cashed it in the first half. Didn't sweat it at all. So, AB, what do you got for us tonight?
Yep, I'm going to go fast before the viruses start up again. So, look, we're going to go Rams -4. You look, the 49ers have lost 8 straight at home. They're 1-8 against the spread their last 9. But, look, Sean McVay is 70% against the spread after a loss. And weird to say that a 7-2 team needs a win, but they actually need a win because I know Arizona lost, but they're going to keep their foot on the gas pedal in the NFC West. Like, this is an absolute must-win for Los Angeles, as weird as that sounds. We're also going to go with Jimmy Garoppolo over half an interception. So, essentially, he just needs to throw one. He's thrown 5 interceptions in 4 career games against the Rams. You look at the Rams secondary or the Rams team as a whole, they have 9 interceptions in their last 5 games. In fact, every 3.43% of passes.
I knew it. You know what? I'm officially labeling that. What do you think we should call that, Mikey, when you freeze? Pulling?
Oh, that's
no.
great.
Oh, no.
That is great. That is great.
No, Mikey. Mikey just pulled a Jay Smooth.
He still doesn't know.
Jay Smooth.
He doesn't know?
No, I know.
Oh, you do know?
I know.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. It's going to
Paul,
be pulling an
AB and Jay Smooth. I'm trying to knock out all the bingo stuff at once.
One of these days, we're going to play bingo, and somebody's going to win or going to give away something because that bingo game is amazing. All right. AB. Mikey, I know you also are on the same side as AB. Tell the people the reasoning for your picks tonight.
Yeah, so I have the Rams -4. I played this on Tuesday afternoon before the news of both Beckham really and the news with Robert Woods. And that's why we've seen a half-point line movement the other way. Still like it at 3.5, obviously. I think they're the better team here. I don't trust Jimmy Garoppolo at all. I think the more times that he's out on the field, the more snaps he takes, the more that he gets exposed. And then I trust this Rams defensive front, especially with Von Miller in there. I think that they're going to be able to put enough pressure on him to make some mistakes. And as far as the Rams go, I think that they still have a number of talented receivers. Very excited about Van Jefferson's emergence and getting to step into a little bit of a larger role here. So on the Rams against the spread. And then I also have Van Jefferson over 47.5 receiving yards. Told you this morning I'd play it up to 51.5, or at least where I thought it should be in the market. My simulations have it all the way up to 59. Just playing it a little cautious there, but for those that are still getting it at 53.5, very strong lean on the over here. I think that this, if I'm correct about the role that he's going to have, the number is very, very, very soft. And then if you missed out on it, the best thing you could do is hit the subscribe button so you get that notification and you can get it in the morning next time at 47.5 and get the early edge like the show is called. So yeah, make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't done that yet, please.
I don't know why anybody wouldn't at this point. I mean, I say it all the time. You can only lead the horses to water, but they've got to drink, right? Come on, turn on those notifications so you get it every single time any content drops into your feed or a pick is made. You got to do it. If you wait 3 or 4 hours, you see the numbers moved 4 yards already. We just told you at the top of the show, my book has the same number, high juice. It didn't move with the same juice. It matters. It matters when you play it. Now, Sia, my notes tell me that you do not have an official play. Is that correct, or do you have one now?
I do have an official play, and I have a lean as well.
Oh, so, give it to me, big boy. Give it to me.
And I will concede that this, and by the way, this official play is a rerun of what Alan was saying. But the reason I hesitated earlier in the day is because I thought it was a little trappish, to be honest with you. Rams -3.5, even though they're on the road and it is, we're talking about an NFC West divisional matchup here. I don't see how the dam doesn't break for the 49ers over the course of 4 quarters. So I like the Rams -3.5. That's my official play for all the reasons we've kind of talked about. But one thing to bring up here, there are some key injuries for the 49ers. Their right tackle is out. There are injuries in their secondary. And again, I think they might start off okay. I think this is a game that's ripe for a live bet. I think the scripted plays that Kyle Shanahan brings out there, I could see them having an early lead, maybe 3-0, maybe 7-0. Maybe you get the benefit of Rams, at Pick'em or something midway through the first quarter. But even at -3.5, I do like it in spite of the trappish nature of it. And so that's definitely an official play for me. The lean I have, Coach, is Cooper Kupp over 26.5 yards longest reception. Again, this goes back.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of it's a slightly bigger number considering Kupp's, sometimes gets some of that underneath stuff. And some of the guys like, Van Jefferson, their ADOTs are generally game to game a little bit deeper. But with all of that said, I just don't see a scenario where Cooper Kupp doesn't shake this secondary. He's getting double-digit targets. Every single game this year, he's gotten double-digit targets except for one. And we're talking on a pretty routine basis, 13 and 12 targets. And I just don't see him not shaking this secondary, which is featuring some rookies that really haven't played. And I think 26.5 is something that he might do more than once, frankly.
Yeah, we definitely will hit on his other props in a matter of just a couple of minutes. His reception prop, by the way, to back up what you're saying, is at -160 because they can't take it any higher than it is at over 7.5. So everything you just said is dead on. A little maintenance from the chat. I found my new favorite person in the chat, guys. His name's Jesse. Can we pull that up, please? He says, AB who? That's exactly what I always like to say. AB who? We don't need him. And then Jay or that Joy down there. Hey, Coach, big night tonight. How about a shout-out for the boys at 231 Maxwell? We tailed you last night and are again here tonight. That's what I'm talking about. Welcome to the family. Tell your friends. They tell a friend. They tell a friend. This is where you need to be, Jay. Welcome to the family, my brother. We appreciate you being here. All right. Now, I want to put up, because the maestro, he can't ever just not weigh in on a big show. He has official plays, and we like to call them, what is it, Jeweler? What do we call them? Oh, that's right.
Monday Night Maestro.
Monday, thank you, Jeweler. Monday Night Maestro. And I want your boys' takes on the picks I'm getting ready to give right here and right now. They are, oh, wait a second. Yes, they are. There they are. George Kittle over 60.5 receiving yards, -110. And then Van Jefferson, longest reception, over 20.5, -110. And by the way, I just made an executive decision. We will not be giving out the donkey parlay tonight until we get to 400 likes. So if you want to play the fun donkey parlay, let's get to 400 likes. If not, we're not going to give it out. We have over 800 watching live right now. Huge number. All we need is 400 to hit that like button. Let's go. Everybody. All right. Let's bring it back out. Mikey, your thoughts on these two plays? You've already talked about Van Jefferson a lot today. What do you make of either one of these?
Yeah, I like the Van Jefferson one. He's going to maintain being the deep threat. He's very fast. He's very athletic. I think he's going to thrive having more of a role in the offense here. As far as the George Kittle one, I'm not as much on board with it. It's dead on where I have the number in the simulations. So, it's certainly not going to be a minus EV play to play it here, but I certainly don't have the edge on the over. Look, I think that they still have a number of weapons that they can go to. I do think that George Kittle will be a focus for the Rams in this game. So I'm not playing the Kittle one. I like the Van Jefferson one, but the Kittle one is, like I said, dead on my number.
Okay. Sia, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I like the Van Jefferson one for the same reasons I like the Cooper Kupp one. And by the way, that's sort of why the Cooper Kupp one was a lean as opposed to an official play, because I think any of these, well, I shouldn't say any of these. I think these two receivers in particular, Van Jefferson and Cooper Kupp, can definitely get behind the defense. Van Jefferson is going to be more prone to doing that. So I don't mind. I think 20.5 is a solid number there. Kittle makes sense because he's going to be the most okay, so the Rams are likely to, their pressure rate isn't great, believe it or not, but I think with the addition of Von Miller and the issues that the 49ers have on their offensive line, particularly with McClinchy at right tackle, I think you're going to see Jimmy Garoppolo get the ball out of his hands really, really quick. Now, you can do that with Debo and Brandon Ayuk, of course, but I think his most reliable target, at least historically, is George Kittle. And so I think you're going to see a lot of just, quick passes, out of his hand within 2.5 seconds to George Kittle. And we know George Kittle's pretty good after the catch. So I think 60.5 is a pretty fair number. I personally didn't look at it as a bet, but I like the play.
All right. Very, very good. Thank you to both of you. Tori in the chat says, I wish you guys posted up the picks you're talking about because sometimes I miss them, but hear you talking about them because I'm taking care of my baby. The only thing we can tell you, Tori, and first of all, thank you for being part of the fam, is that we put a recap up at the end of the show about 15 minutes before the game starts to give you plenty of time to get all these picks in if you don't see them on the screen during the show. So we do a full recap at the end of the show, and we give the picks out twice. All right, we give the picks out twice. All right, let's get into a bunch of props because we have so many in the chat. And Mikey, I want to start with you because we talk about same-game parlays, and they're really a popular play on these primetime games. There's only one thing going on. So from the chat, would you like the Rams plus 2.5 and then raise the total and play the under at 56.5?
Yeah, I definitely think that that's the way that I would tease this game. Looks like that's going to be kind of a standard teaser there. That's definitely how I would tease the game, as I would go with the Rams and then bring the total down, or go up and then play under. Yes, yep.
Okay, very good. Somebody just came in late on the Van Jefferson play at 51.5 yards. No juice at their book from Jay Ruff, and you said you'd play it to that point, right?
Yeah, 51.5 is where I think the numbers should be set in the market. I have in my simulations up to 59. It's up to you to decide how much you're comfortable with there. I think that there's obviously enough upside. I don't think it's a terrible play at really, frankly, any number under 55. But obviously you want that as low as you possibly can.
Okay, very good. All right, I've got my 3 newest winners of year-long memberships at SportsLine. Welcome to the fam. Here we go. At Stu HTX, at Beat the Bad Beat, and at Chrissy BMA. You are the 3 newest members. Welcome. The Jeweler will reach out to you on social media and give you all of the details. Sia, let me come to you. We talked about the Kittle yardage prop, but what about the catch prop? 5.5. I don't have the juice. I apologize.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now, and 5.5 looks to be plus 105.
Oh, yes.
So,
all right. Now I got you right.
Obviously, the under looks to be the play there in terms of what the betting market is doing. That's a close one. I would put it at 5. And so I don't really love the over at 5.5. Can he do it? Absolutely. But again, my narrative here in terms of a game plan for the 49ers is to, while I think Kittle is going to be heavily involved, is to establish the run against the Rams, because I think that's where you beat them. So that's not a prop I wouldn't bet the under, but I certainly wouldn't bet the over there either.
All right, so that's what the game script is going to be. Mikey, let me come to you. Darrell Henderson, over 68.5 rush yards is his number now at minus 109. He had 55 yards a week ago against the Titans.
Yeah, so I haven't played it. I do have a little bit of an edge on it. I have the number up to 72, and I'll tell you how I would handle this one is it's going to depend on which side of the game you're on. If you're on the side that thinks the Rams cover the spread, fire away. If you think that the 49ers cover the spread, 49ers upset went outright, I would probably shy away. I've got it's a lean for sure on the over. Mm-hmm. And then to make it a play or not would just be which side of the game are you on. That's the way I would lean. Over if you're on the Rams, under if you're on the 49ers.
All right. Very good. People love the quarterback props. Sia, let me come back to you. Here are the yardage props tonight. Juice to minus 113, Stafford over 287.5, and Jimmy G over 249.5, juice to minus 120.
Ooh, yeah, I'm not touching the Jimmy one. If I were going to, it would probably be the under, but it's a stay away for me. The Stafford one is really interesting. I think they will accomplish a lot through the air. That's a pretty high number. Unfortunately, that's also a stay away. I like other props in this game, not necessarily the quarterback ones. If I was going to bet the Stafford one, it would be the over, because I do think you can expose this Niners secondary, but that's a pretty high number. So it's not something I'm super interested in.
Okay. His attempts are at 36.5, Mikey, 32.5 for Jimmy G. We've been cashing attempt props lately as well. Any edge on these two?
I would lean. I kind of like the under on the Jimmy. There's always the thing that you have to price into this is if he's not playing well, takes a hit. Like there's always a chance that Trey Lance enters this football game, especially in this competitive division game that they want to win. Chief, get off of me, buddy.
He's happy about last night. He's happy.
He's
about
happy about last night. He's happy to see me when he comes in because he was out with the dog walker and all that, so he gets a little excited. But
we love him.
I have a lean on the under here, and I think that they're going to hand the ball off. You have to remember this team also likes to get creative with the ways that they get the ball to Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel. They do often have some additional handoffs to the receivers and plays that go down as running plays. So if I was playing either one of these, I would lean towards the under on the pass attempts for Jimmy.
I agree, by the way, Coach. I like the under on that as well.
Thank you, Sia. I'm glad that you agree.
You're welcome.
I'm kidding. I'm actually going to come back to you. Somebody had one of their books as an interesting bet, Sia. I like these fun bets. Having Stafford and Jimmy G both over 250 yards, juiced to plus 180. That's kind of a fun bet.
So say that again. Stafford and Jimmy G both over 250.5 yards?
Yeah, they both have to go over 250, and it's plus 180.
I mean, a plus 180, I think that's really solid, actually. That's a nice number. Yeah.
Yeah. At the same time, Mikey, everybody thinks that you are the one that's going after AB in the chat. They think you hacked his feed because you live in the penthouse and he lives in the outhouse. We know that. In the same city, 3 blocks apart. Now, this is how much people love Mikey, your donkey parlay. I make one threat to not give it out. And what do you think happens? We're already over 500 likes on the show. That's all it took. Don't make me threaten you people again. I don't like doing it. It doesn't feel good, but you guys respond when I do it. So we got more to give away very, very shortly. If we can get to 800 before the end of the show, somebody's going to win that Coach action figure that Prop Stars always shows, but we haven't given it out yet. So keep that coming. Now, let's stay with the props because there's so many more we're going to talk about. We only have a short time to do it. AB already gave out the interception prop for Jimmy G. It's juiced now at about 140. I still like that. Let's go Van Jefferson. We haven't talked about his reception number over 3.5. And again, this is juiced very, very high. My book, minus 180. We can't touch a prop at that number, can we? Mikey?
I don't love it. I do like the amount of targets he's been receiving, 7, 6, and 7 in the last 3 weeks leading into this game. So I don't think that number decreases. But yeah, it's a huge number to be laying on that. So I would much prefer finding a higher number and getting some plus money on it than I would laying that number.
Yeah, I hear you there. Sia, there's some people in the chat that are fading. Apparently they have some numbers on Odell Beckham. My book does not yet. Would you even consider playing anything but an under tonight on OBJ?
Well, it depends what it is. I mean, if it's a receptions prop that is, and I'm looking at the receptions props where I'm looking and I don't see one either.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't see any at all.
Let me double check. Yeah, I don't see one on mine, but I would play the under on receptions rather than yards because I think he could probably get loose. They'll design a couple plays for him for sure, some splash plays at that. So I think he could make the yardage in depending on what it is in one catch. But as far as the receptions themselves, if it's like 3 or if it's 3.5, I would definitely take the under on Odell Beckham.
Okay, keep that in mind, Mike. And then we come back to you. Yeah, what do you got, bud?
I just say on Odell Beckham, yeah, I've got some of the props that are up there. It looks like his receiving prop on the yardage is anywhere from 31.5 to 33.5. Now, my thoughts on Odell Beckham in this game, because I know a lot of people are very curious and like to know. I do lean towards the under, but I'm not playing the under because, like Sia said, he can easily get loose on any play. As far as how much he will play, I don't think that he's going to be a massive focal point. I think that where we're more likely to see him and where I'm more likely to invest is I would consider investing in like a first touchdown or an anytime touchdown. I think we're more likely to see him in that red zone where he's just a threat because of his true athletic ability and his ability to catch the football. It's a little easier to scheme for those situations than up and down the field where they're potentially in hurry up situations and other situations where they're calling multiple plays. I don't think that he's ready for that with this playbook, but I do think he can understand some of the stuff in the red zone itself. So that's where I'd look to play him. Other than that, I think that it's going to be Ben Skoranek that's going to be out there in that number 3 wide receiver role. I don't think that he's going to be able to play out there, especially if the game is competitive. If the game's competitive and they're in any sort of hurry up, moving quick mode, I think that eliminates a lot of OBJ tonight.
It's great information right there. Make sure you listen. We always tell you, educate and entertain. Josh, I see you in the chat. Stream's almost at 1,000. We're telling our friends that's the only way that we grow. Thank you, Nicholas, Dysfunctional, C. Breezy, the Gusman, Maiden, Tori, Aaron, Ben. We see all of you, and we appreciate all the time that you invest in us and the trust that you invest in our information as well. Well, not ABs, but the rest of my guys. Yeah, you trust them tremendously. All right, we now have more winners, and this is incredible. Absolutely incredible how many lives we're changing tonight. So I've got 9 names. Count them, 9 names that I have to read off right now. How crazy is this? At JFHWHOELSE, at D Josh Sharp, at Big Buff 403. Somebody got my second handle. It is what it is. At Triple CNKY, at T Schnitz 7, at Smutnik John, at Oon Dog, at Spicy Fam, and at Big. Apparently, Big Buff 403 wins twice. I think that was just written down. All right, all of you just want a year-long membership. Welcome to the family. All the analysis, all the simulations, everything. It really gets your day started with the Early Edge. Now, coming up in a matter of minutes, we'll do our donkey parlay and also our Van Jefferson Memorial first down, touchdown props that you guys are as much into as my guys are. And I just realized, boys, I'm the only one, well, Jeweler too, that is on the screen right now that's not in the club. I feel very excluded.
The VJMC?
Don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about. Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. You know you're in it twice. You know you're the only 2-time member. Don't act stupid. Don't act dumb like you don't know what I'm talking about.
I think I'm going to make some Van Jefferson Memorial Patagonia vests that I'll award to team members after they hit.
That would be incredible. And that would drive me and Prop Stars even more crazy. Because right now, I lose sleep at night because I'm not in the club with you two. Oh, golly. And you're the only one, Sia, that can talk trash twice.
I mean, I want to take credit for that, and it's true. But in fairness, it was also Mike's pick. I just happened to go first that day. So, I mean, I feel like he's kind of won it twice as well. But since I got to go first, I get all the glory. So
do not go soft on me. Don't give him the credit. By the way, very interesting question in the chat right now. What are the odds we get a Noah Stanley guest host? The bosses guest hosting this show over my dead body. That will never happen. It takes enough for me to take Saturdays off to let AB host the show. I'll be damned if Noah's ever going to step into this seat. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. All right. We've reached the time of the show. I tell people all the time, you don't know when, but we're going to do it right here and right now because I got through all of the props that you guys had questions about. So we don't waste time. We're going to get right into it. Mikey, I'm ready for it. I think tonight it's going to cash. Give us your incredibly popular donkey parlay. The floor is yours.
All right.
Oh, I love that so
I always forget when Jeweler's on. He's going to hit us with that. So we're going to give you this one a little early because it is a little more complicated tonight. But we're taking the Rams plus 3.5, the 49ers plus 10.5, over 40.5, under 60.5. Cooper Kupp alternate line over 84.5 receiving yards. Van Jefferson over 34.5 alternate line receiving yards. And then I'm looking for the Rams to score over 3.5 points in the first half of the game. You put those all together, plays plus 700. Now, some of the people out there have done this, and I recommend it for a lot of people. If you're not comfortable with, say, you like the over 40, but you don't like it to stay under 60, feel free to drop any of the legs out of there. If you want to lose the over 3.5 in the first half, definitely make it what you want. But for me, this is what I'm doing. And the two pieces in terms of player props that I would include are going to be Cooper Kupp and Van Jefferson, basically as low as you can get them at the book.
All right, and we're going to throw a little more into the pot tonight, starting tonight. So whenever a donkey parlay hits, we're going to give away, count them, two year-long memberships to SportsLine whenever the donkey parlay hits. So adding more value to root for that here tonight. And we'll give it out one more time before the end of the show. All right, as we approach the top of the hour, this is our favorite time of the show. This is our favorite time of the show. This is the Van Jefferson Memorial first touchdown pick of this is a completely fun pick. And if you are brand new to the show, first of all, welcome. Second of all, this started week 1. We didn't plan on doing it, but sometimes the best segments are those that just happen. My man M Squared threw out Van Jefferson. He's going to throw the first touchdown of the game today. Plus 4,000. Boom, banged it. The very next night, the good-looking man right below Mike, he said, how about Tyson Williams, plus 1,200. Bang, we banged it the second night in a row. So they started the club. These two men started the club. So, M Squared, who's your pick tonight?
So we all know that Robert Woods is out. Odell Beckham is in. I'm going to take who I believe will be the replacement. That's Ben Skoranek, wide receiver for the Los Angeles Rams here. You can get this plus 2,500, might even be up to plus 5,000 on MGM. Unfortunately, I forgot to go check theirs. They typically have the best odds on that one. Got into the action in week 8 against the Texans. 3 targets, 3 catches, 30 yards. He is the guy that very clearly knows the playbook. He's going to be out there, and I expect him to fully take over that number 3 wide receiver role to start this game. I think it'll be a week or 2 before we see Odell Beckham really out there on a bunch of the snaps. So I think we have some pretty incredible value here because when they have to defend Cooper Kupp, Tyler Higbee, and Van Jefferson now, I think that he's clearly going to draw the least amount of attention of those 3 weapons. So let's go Ben Skoranek plus 2,500.
Ben Skoranek is pick number 1. All right. See ya. Talk to me.
So let me just go back to yesterday when Cam Newton came into the game for his Carolina Panthers and quite easily rushed it into the end zone inside the 5-yard line. And just that, what a great moment that was, by the way, when he just took the penalty, unfortunately for the team, and just kept screaming, "I'm back." And I think to myself tonight, I think Kyle Shanahan must be watching that game thinking to himself, well, I have one of those guys that can do that too. And I suspect that if the 49ers are inside, let's say the 6 or 5-yard line, that Garoppolo this week comes out of the game and it's either going to Elijah Mitchell, Jeff Wilson, or Trey Lance. I'm going to take the guy that is 40-1. And so my first touchdown for the Van Jefferson Memorial, and on behalf of a member in the Van Jefferson Memorial Club, I am taking Trey Lance at 40-1.
Oh my God, you guys are so low key, so savage when it comes to digs, and I respect it, but it drives me insane. And somewhere right now in parts unknown, Prop Stars is losing his mind that he is not on the show to give this pick out. So, Sia, much respect to you. All right, this is my night. This is my night to go from outside the club, grease the guy at the door, and get slid into the VIP section. So I'm going to go with a man who scored last week for the LA Rams because I believe in game script, Sia. If there's one thing I've learned from M Squared, it's about game script. And tonight, the game script says the Rams dominate from start to finish. So my pick at plus 1,400, Sony Michel. One of my favorite names in all the NFL. Sony Michel cashes the ticket tonight, and I no longer have to drive myself crazy every Tuesday when I wake up and realize there's a club that I simply can't get into. All right, Jeweler.
Well, you...
What are you doing? You are so funny. All right, what do you got?
Well, you mentioned the door, and I feel like I'm sort of the honorary doorman of the club after Sammy Watkins just completely gave up on what would have been me joining the club on Thursday night. Just
very true. Very true.
The ball fall right in front of him. So I'm going to go tonight with Brandon Ayuk. You can get him at plus 1,400 over on MGM. Like Mike said, they usually have the best lines over there. I mean, you look at his sort of target share and snap count and every metric that Alex would go on for 10 minutes about, it's been up with him for the last 2 weeks. So hopefully Lance connects deep early on, and that's when we cash it. Join the club.
DVOA is still my favorite Prop Stars reference. DVOA.
A-dot.
He's like teaching a class. Yeah. Oh my goodness. All right. So I know AB has a pick, but it's been kind of nice not to have to worry about him interrupting me tonight. I'm just going to be honest. By the way, in the chat, somebody gets it. He says, I'm going to keep betting on the coach's picks until he wins. He can't lose them all. What are you talking about? I won last night. What are you talking about? I thought that was a compliment. Don't put it up, jeweler. I thought that was a compliment. Then I read the whole damn thing. I think he's talking about the Van Jefferson pick, not about all my picks. I think the Van Jefferson picks. So I think it was a compliment. So thank you very much. So here's what AB is giving out tonight, I believe. Jeweler, is it correct that he's going with Odell Beckham Jr. tonight at plus 1,300? Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay.
I can't give you and here's why, but he's got OBJ. He's sort of got the chalk there.
Okay, very good. All right, so that's AB's pick. So those are our 5 plays, and one of them. But last night when Tyreek Hill hit, we're like, really, that's no fun. I was happy you did.
It was actually a lot of fun. I enjoyed it a lot.
It really was. That was a good night for us. For sure. All right, let's recap our picks. We're going to get out of here a little bit early because we don't stretch it out if we don't have to. So this is our official picks. Mikey, what do you have tonight? Explain yourself. We have a lot of new people that just came in top of the hour.
Yep, on the LA Rams here, I think they're the better team. I think they're going to rely on that defense, and I think just a little bit of an overreaction to losing Robert Woods in this situation. Do not trust Jimmy Garoppolo at all, especially against a good defensive front. And then Van Jefferson over 47.5 receiving yards. I think this line was incredibly soft. I think he's going to have an even bigger role. Frankly, this line was fine in his previous role with Robert Woods on the field. So just great value on that one, and expecting a tight game, but I expect one where Jimmy makes a late mistake and the Rams end up winning by 7 to 8 points.
I like that a lot. See, Breezy said it's so quiet without AB because that's the way we like it. See ya. Talk to me. Back up, Mikey. You love the Rams too.
Yeah, I just think they're the better team ultimately. And Jimmy Garoppolo hasn't really been doing the 49ers any favor. Neither have the recent injuries. When you have the momentum of new additions from Von Miller to Odell Beckham, I just think, and especially coming off a really bad loss against the Titans, I think the Niners in a must-win are catching the Rams at the wrong time. And by the way, McVay on the road coming off a loss is excellent against the spread over the last few years that he's been coaching. So that's another sort of feather in the cap for the Rams bet.
All right, very good. By the way, I completely overlooked Alex's one play, and I apologize. That was not on purpose. Darrell Henderson, over 62.5 rush yards, minus 114. We talked about it a little bit, but that is an official play from Alex on the show tonight for the Rams running back. All right, let's go through the donkey parlay. If we can put that up there one more time. Mikey, take us through that, and then we'll let everybody have a chance because we are less than 10 minutes away from getting all these picks in. One more time, take us through that donkey parlay.
All right, we got the Los Angeles Rams alternate spread plus 3.5, 49ers alternate spread plus 10.5, alternate over 40.5, alternate under 60.5, Cooper Kupp over 84.5. That's also an alternate line. Over 34.5 receiving yards for Van Jefferson, and then over 3.5 first half points for the LA Rams. Basically need them to have two field goals or a touchdown in the first half of this game.
All right. So one thing I have to read before we get into our final shout outs of the thing. And Jeweler, if you could bring me back up on the screen, please. So I just got a text from AB and he says this: I'm really, really sorry. Pisses me off. We'll get it fixed. Thanks for picking me up, boys. AB, we didn't pick you up. Nobody picked you up. It actually went a lot smoother without you on the show. So anytime the bosses want to look at a show and say, is it better with or without AB? Just come back to tonight. Just come back tonight because we just did our best show of the year after he left. All right. And as I say that, I have more winners. Oh, yes, Mikey. What do you got, sir?
Oh, you might have more winners there. If I'm stepping on anyone's toes, I haven't read the chat yet, but I'm going to make a first touchdown pick for Alex because Van Jefferson is still at 1,000. He's at the cutoff. So
Okay.
I'd like to give him Van Jefferson if he hasn't sent in a first touchdown pick.
He has not. He has not.
Okay.
Boy, that is very kind of you. You're including Alex when we have been excluded from this club. That's very nice of you, Mikey. What do you have, Sia?
Well, you asked for a nickname for Allen, and this is a stretch, but let's call him, because he lost connection a couple different times and froze. Let's call him Dial-Up. And by the way, his last name is Bell. Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone, so it just kind of fits. He's Dial-Up. I blow you away.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Good old JR. By the way, before we get out of here, I do have to say this, that we have a SportsLine showdown, which you know is my favorite thing in the world, between my man M Squared and Zach Attack. Rams for Mikey, 49ers for Zach. So, Jeweler, if you don't mind, just one time, could you hit the music, please? It's gonna be a showdown. Oh, I love when that music plays. I love when my cappers go head-to-head on the show. All right, it is that time. We're down to like 6 minutes. I like to end every show giving my cappers 15 to 30 seconds on what they're most looking forward to tonight. See you, go.
We've got two of the best coaches in the league. I don't think there's really much dispute about that. And Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay. We know Kyle Shanahan can give Sean McVay fits. He's done it in the past, but I think the page is turning a little bit, and I think the 49ers are in some trouble tonight.
Mikey, talk to me.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Van Jefferson catching a few footballs here, going over the total on the receiving yards. Looking forward to a Rams victory, but really interested to see how the defense looks with Von Miller out there. Very interested to see how they use Odell Beckham, if at all, in this game. And let's hit all our bets here.
Oh, I like that a lot. All right, so the final thing to do, I got to give out my final 6 winners because you guys did your job, so I've got to do mine. Here are the 6 last winners of year-long memberships to SportsLine. At G447 Stevie, at Olson J27, at 24K Bam, at Physical Combat, at Mage 4079, and at Jose Guevara 72. You're always so active. Thank you in particular. You guys are winners. The jeweler will reach out to you on social media and tell you all you need to know. Make sure I don't miss anything as we head into Monday Night Football. All right, there's only one thing left to do.
You and your marching orders. Let's take all these tickets straight to the pay window for the Maestro, for M Squared, for Zach Attack, and Jay Smooth. I am the coach, and you'll take these all straight to the pay window. Thank you.
What the hell was that? He said pay window twice. I swear to God, I did not know that was coming. I'm as flummoxed. You guys, you cannot tell me you enjoyed that. Mikey, you're laughing, but do not tell me you enjoyed that.
The only thing I enjoyed about it is at the end, it kind of started like the internet started cutting out. At the end of this video.
Dial-up can't even do that right. Oh, jeweler, diabolical on the ones and the twos. Damn it. You're right. Dysfunctional says I'm going to body slam somebody. Everybody wants to come after me. I don't understand why. Damn it. Kelsey said that made my whole night. I'm glad it made somebody's night. All right. This is how you really do it. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. For my whole crew, M Squared, Sia, even AB, the bosses, the jeweler, the entire team. Damn it, we love to have fun, and we love to hang out with you. Enjoy the game tonight. And like Josh, tell all your friends, the only place you can come to be educated and entertained, you know what the show is. Early Edge. Good luck.